Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Loyal Sons podcast. I am the Hoff. I am here all by my lonesome right now. Brett had a conflict this week. We apologize for the delay in getting a quick episode out. This weekend didn't work out. I was actually up enjoying the beautiful charms that are the state of Iowa and Omaha, Nebraska. Back seeing some family, seeing some friends. Had a fantastic time just being back, around home. Got some great cultural exposure, I guess you could call it, while I was back as well. And was invited by a friend of mine to go to her niece's dance competition down at the Hilton in downtown Omaha. And I got to say, if you've never been to one of those and you want to see some toughness, some artistry, and just amazing choreography, highly recommend, if you have a family member that competes, get your ass out there and try to catch it. Anyways, enough about my trip. Again, wonderful time being back home. However, didn't get back until late on Sunday. And with that being the case, Brett and I just wanted to shoot out a quick episode here, just to kind of follow up a little bit on, what's been going on. So as I sit here and enjoy a cold glass of Steeple Ridge, highly recommend you guys get out there, pick yourself up a bottle when you get a chance. But quite a bit going on for our big three in the Midwest. Before we move on, make sure you guys are looking us up on TikTok. Make sure you guys are looking us up on Facebook, whatever social platforms you prefer to use. Just search for us at the Loyal Sons podcast or Loyal Sons Forever. Again, you'll be able to see the lovely state of Iowa logo with a tornado right through the middle of it. Pretty easy to find. And for a listen, thank you again for all of you that continue to listen. But for any of you that want to give us a listen on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Apple Podcasts, again, the Loyal Sons podcast, search all 4 words, and you should be able to find us there. And again, thank you for all of you that continue to listen. As you guys can tell, we've changed our format recently a little bit. We are continuing to follow our big 3, but we're mixing in a little bit of music as well. We've got some artists that are up and coming. We've had some that are already making a name for themselves, but we've had some local artists and some not so local artists reach out asking to join the show. We recently had Down 430 up here in about a week or so. We're going to have another another Midwestern country artist that is really making some waves up around Wisconsin. Robbie Sender. And if you haven't heard his music, look it up on Spotify. He's got a few songs out. Absolutely fantastic artist. Looking forward to having him on the show. But this is going to be just a quick episode, and just wanted to really just go through a quick rundown. Let's kick it off with wrestling, guys. Conference tournament weekend was last weekend. As I sat in the in lovely Epley Airfield, I was able to watch the finals of the Big Ten tournament. As predicted or as anticipated, Penn State just kind of runs the show. And Penn State and Ohio State end up finishing number 1 and number 2 in the Big Ten. Now, no shame to Iowa and Nebraska. Those two were powers the entire season. Nebraska ends up coming out 3rd. Iowa ends up walking away with 4th place overall as a team. It was a little bit of an anomaly, though, as Nebraska had no champions. So the Huskers don't have any champions, but they have 6 second-place finishes. Iowa walks away with 3 champions and 1 second-place finish. Ohio State finished with 2 champions, and Penn State ended up with 7 first-place finishes. So overall, with respect to everything that took place this season, I would say, it was a tough but hell of a finish. Maybe not up to the Hawkeyes and Huskers hopes, but overall, when you've got Ohio State and Penn State in your conference, I think that it was a pretty damn good outcome. On to the national tournament to see where we fare. For Iowa State, I think Iowa State really went into the Big 12 tournament anticipating at the beginning of this year that they started out a very strong start to the season. I think they really anticipated coming out on top in the Big 12 tournament. Oklahoma State had other ideas. Iowa State does walk away with 2 champions in the Big 12 tournament, but finishes second to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State handled business. Their first place finish as a team was not really in doubt. Overall, Oklahoma State just continued to get stronger as the season went along. Hell of a finish for Iowa State, though, this year, finishing second in the Big 12. and again on to the national tournament. Then we're going to move on to ladies basketball as we get into the NCAA tournament, which is going to be starting up here in the next week. Conference tournaments are over for the ladies. Let's kick it off with the Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes go on a hell of a run in the Big Ten tournament, and then they ran into a brick wall called UCLA. No shame in the loss. Iowa showed up, but it was a record-breaking loss for the Hawkeyes, unfortunately, in Chicago. Indianapolis. But this is a UCLA team that is really not to be trifled with. They've been handling business all season long. This is a tough team that's been dominating everybody. And the Hawkeyes, as a lot of people have said, there is a very strong difference between some of these 1 seeds and then there's a huge difference even dropping down to a 2 seed, which is what I was still projected as going into the tournament. Nebraska, they got ousted right away. The future is left to be determined for Nebraska. I know that as far as bracketology goes, there was projections having them in the tournament. I know that it was going to help for them to win some games in the Big Ten, which did not take place, unfortunately. Like I said, TBD for what that holds or what is in store for Nebraska. The selection show will be coming up this weekend, and we'll be able to find out where they're going to go, or if they're going to make it. As far as Iowa State, didn't really go much better for our ladies. Iowa State ousted by an Arizona State team that they had been able to handle earlier in the season. Just really, there was some things that got exposed for Iowa State in that game, and Arizona State took full advantage of it. There was a strong lack of defense, obviously, down underneath the hoop. They could not get things going. In watching the game, Iowa State, they were able to, from the very get-go, they were able to get back within, arm's reach, if you will, but Arizona State really did not leave it in doubt. As the game progressed in the second half, really showed that they were going to be the ones moving on. So unfortunately for the Iowa State ladies, it's one and done. Now, again, future is left to be determined as far as what's going to take place in an NCAA tournament seeding. On Sunday, as Brett and I discussed a few weeks ago, is TCU kind of runs the Big 12 in ladies basketball. And they were upset by West Virginia in the final on Sunday. So congratulations to the Mountaineer ladies on winning the Big 12. Congratulations to the UCLA women on taking the Big 10. Now, we'll see what happens on Selection Sunday coming up here in a few days. Now, moving on to the men. Today is Wednesday, the 11th, as I record here. Iowa and Iowa State both played today in their respective conference tournaments. Both really took care of things. Iowa had a little bit tougher go, in playing Maryland. Maryland was a team that, are they a team that should have really been on the watch out or lookout for? They've given some teams a run this season, but Iowa, everybody knew Iowa should have won this game. Iowa, towards the end of the game, kind of pulled away, didn't really leave a lot of doubt out there. Now, Sturtz and Koch both had awesome games. Koch finishing with 19 points. Sturtz finishing with 17. They just kind of kept Maryland in check. Were they able to blow Maryland out? No. I mean, Maryland was a scrappy team, and they showed it today. So, I mean, for Hawkeye fans, I'm sure there was some nerves probably throughout the game. So the Hawkeyes take care of their second round game, and now it's on to face Ohio State. So this is going to be a tough game tomorrow. I'm actually looking it up right now to see what the spread is. Looks like Iowa is currently a 1.5 favorite. Now, the fun part about this is the lucky winner of this game gets to go on to play Michigan. Maybe a little bit of revenge. We'll see. We'll pull for the Hawkeyes tomorrow as they take on the Buckeyes. If they can pull that off, then you never know. You never know. We're getting into March Madness. As far as I'm concerned, conference tournaments are included in March Madness. As you look at these smaller conference tournaments and just the thrill that these fans and these teams have, the ones that punch their ticket because they know only one team from this conference is going. I mean, for Christ's sakes, you're talking about a Miami of Ohio team that finished undefeated, and we still have people out there saying they're a bubble team unless they win their conference tournament, which is absolutely insane. But enough about that. I'm going to get off my soapbox there. And Iowa State today. Iowa State is looking to a rematch with Texas Tech tomorrow in Kansas City on the just absolutely horrendous glass court that I apologize for the eyesore for any of you that are watching this. There's times when during the introductions that the court looks absolutely amazing. I think it's flat out awesome when their names flash up with their numbers and the school logo. However, during the game, a lot of complaints, but first world problems, right? The court's a court. Both teams have to play on it. I know there's been some teams that have lost that have brought up the complaints about the court, and it's like, you know what? Both teams are playing on it. It's not going to be advantageous to one over the other. However, Iowa State plays Arizona State. The second time in 5 days that they've had to play the Arizona State Sun Devils. And a lot of questions around Iowa State as they come into Kansas City. This is Hilton South. This is a territory that Iowa State is expected to see success. The fans expect to see them win. Now, do they expect to see them win the entire tournament? No. But going down and getting ousted right away, much like unfortunately the women's basketball team did, is something that is not acceptable in Ames, Iowa. Now, one thing people were wondering about was what Iowa State team was going to show up. Well, I'll tell you, it was the one that we've been wanting to see for quite some time again. It was the team of early to mid-January or previous, or, even through the month of January. This team routed Arizona State 91-42. Which was the largest margin of victory by a Big 12 team in the Big 12 tournament in history. And Josh Jefferson, who some have said, has acted almost asleep in some of his games recently, walks away with 20 points. Momcilovic, 21 points. Buchanan, of all people, 17 points. Lipsy with 11. The great thing for me, and this is a very small victory, but it was late in the game, Killian Touré, who has not been able to hit the broadside of a barn in his shooting recently, was able to knock down a three. And again, is that a big thing to most? No. But for that kid's confidence, absolutely necessary. And I think that could be something that helps him maybe break the ice. I don't know, get through, however you want to word it. And, Jamarian Bateman does what Jamarian does, 9 points. Shockingly, Heisey did not have any points on the day. He played a hell of a game, but overall, just a dominant win. And now on to a revenge game with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Again, this is just, I wanted to do a quick touch base with y'all that are listening. If any of y'all were wondering where in the heck we've been, because we have not put an episode out for a week and a half at this point, just some traveling, some schedule conflicts got in the way. Brett and I are actually going to be recording an episode up in Lake of the Ozarks this Saturday during the Big 12 men's basketball championship game at Full Throttle Bar and Grill in Lake of the Ozarks. We're really excited to get up there. We're really excited to, have people see us as we're recording an episode, however confused they may be that we're sitting in a bar like while they're having a St. Patrick's Day celebration and recording during the Big 12 championship game. However, just wanted to send out a quick thank you again for listening. We really do appreciate you guys. Brett and I are working on getting some more consistency just in regards to our recording times and dates, also to some consistency regarding our format. And some of y'all have let us know you really enjoy the material we put out, and we can't thank you enough. But for now, I'm going to let y'all go. Going to start packing. Brett and I are hitting the road tomorrow morning, and look forward to a more in-depth, with more meat on the bone episode from us coming out this weekend. So again, from the Loyal Sons, thank y'all. Have a cold Busch Light on us. Enjoy some conference tournament action. And we'll be talking to y'all back around Selection Sunday. All right. Have a good one.